There is a dog that was literally engineered to protect a man who walked into dangerous places for a living. A dog fast enough to chase, strong enough to stop, smart enough to read a room before anything happened, served alongside US Marines in the Pacific that held the line on the streets of American cities, and that police trainers today, the ones who've actually worked with them, call some of the most impressive animals they've ever put through a program. And you will almost certainly never see one in a police uniform again. This is the story of the Doberman Pinscher, and why the dog that was purpose-built for exactly this kind of work is now almost entirely absent from it. To understand what happened, you need to go back over a century ago where this breed started. Carl Friedrich Louis Doberman was a tax collector, night watchman, and dog catcher in 1880s Germany. He ran the local pound, which gave him access to a wide variety of dogs, and he used that access with a clear purpose: to produce something that could protect him in the places his work took him. What he produced carried Rottweiler substance, Weimaraner scenting ability, and the sharp reactions of the German Pinscher. A dog ranked 5th in the world for working intelligence. A dog that was, by design, the closest thing the canine world has ever produced to a personal protection specialist. Police forces agreed. Through much of the early and mid-20th century, Dobermans were a genuine presence in law enforcement on both sides of the Atlantic. During World War II, the United States Marine Corps used them as war dogs, and one Doberman, Kurt, became the first of 25 dogs killed during the Battle of Guam in 1944. There is even a bronze memorial statue of him there today. These were not experiments. They were proven, effective working dogs with a long track record. So what actually happened? People often wrongly assume Dobermans fell out of police work because they failed at the job. Too aggressive, unpredictable, not reliable enough. But that explanation does not hold up. These dogs were not phased out because they underperformed. They were phased out because modern policing is not just about performance. It is about running a system. And the Doberman, for a specific set of reasons, does not fit the system. The first reason is training compatibility. Modern police canine programs are highly standardized. The same methods, the same pressure-based conditioning, the same benchmarks applied across large numbers of dogs to produce consistent, predictable results. The German Shepherd and Belgian Malinois excel in that environment, taking pressure well, repeating strong behaviors reliably. They are, in the best possible sense, programmable. The Doberman operates differently. These are sensitive dogs, not fragile, but aware. They read their handlers and situations as they arise. They respond to context in ways that are more autonomous and less mechanical than most working breeds. In the right hands, that is an enormous asset. Inside a rigid, standardized program designed to churn out consistent results at scale, it creates the one thing those programs cannot afford: unpredictability. The second issue is handler transfer. Police dogs change hands. Handlers retire, move departments, leave the service. The breeds that dominate today transition between handlers without significant loss of effectiveness. The Doberman does not. One of the breed's defining characteristics is the intensity of its bond with a single person. That loyalty, which is genuinely extraordinary in a domestic context, becomes a direct liability in a system that cannot guarantee a dog stays with the same handler for its entire working life. The third problem is supply. If you are running a serious police canine program, you need a reliable pipeline of dogs that meet your standard year after year. Belgian, Malinois, and German Shepherds are produced at scale by dedicated working line breeding operations. The infrastructure exists. The Doberman population, by contrast, has declined significantly over the past several decades. And finding consistent working line stock in any real volume is genuinely difficult. You do not design an entire program around a breed you cannot reliably source. Availability is not a glamorous factor, but it is a decisive one. And then there is the issue that nobody in law enforcement will say publicly, but that shapes these decisions more than almost anything else. Modern policing has shifted dramatically towards community engagement. Departments are acutely conscious of their public image. The dog you put on the street is not just a tool. It is a statement about what your department represents. And the Doberman, whatever its actual temperament, carries a specific cultural image. Sleek, intense, staring directly into your eyes. The dog that Hollywood cast as the villain. The dog that advertising put outside the villain's compound. The dog people cross the street to avoid. That image, however unfair, does not disappear just because a police department knows better. There is a documented case that makes this concrete. A Doberman named Apollo was put through a police K9 program and evaluated as one of the most capable dogs the trainers had ever assessed. Impressive in apprehension work, strong on scent and detection, exceptional by every measurable standard. And department after department refused to take him. Not because of anything he did, because of how he looked. The trainers reported enormous pushback from departments who felt he was too intimidating, too aggressive in appearance, not aligned with the image they wanted to project. Apollo eventually found a placement with a department in Texas. By most accounts, he may currently be the only active Doberman police K9 in the United States. One dog, from a breed that once served across the country. There is also a biological reality that adds one final layer. Dobermans carry a breed-specific predisposition to dilated cardiomyopathy, a heart condition that can shorten a working dog's effective service life at precisely the age when other breeds would still be in their prime. Add a shorter coat that offers less protection in cold climates, and you have a breed where the health arithmetic simply does not work in a department's favor. These are not the primary reasons Dobermans lost their place. But when every other factor is already pointing away from them, there is no counter-argument left. Here is the uncomfortable truth at the center of all of this. The Doberman was not designed to be a tool in someone else's system. It was designed to be the extension of one specific person, operating in situations where that person's life was on the line. That is what Louis Doberman built in 1880s Germany. That is what the Marines took to Guam in 1944. That is what those old photographs on police department walls were showing. A dog doing exactly the work it was made for, alongside exactly the right handler. The traits that make the Doberman difficult to deploy at scale, the sensitivity, the bond, the autonomous intelligence, are the same traits that make it extraordinary in the right context. Police work changed. The breed did not. And what looks like a story about a dog that failed a system is actually a story about a dog that was never designed for one in the first place. It was designed for something harder to scale, harder to standardize, and far more personal than that. It was designed for you.